chosen one. Yes, you, the one who felt the air shift a moment ago. A small change of pressure in the room before you had any reason to name it. Before we begin, do something for me. Sit down. If there is a door near you, close it. You want this hour to belong to no one but you. Put your phone face down on the table, screen against the wood, so nothing can reach in and pull at you while we talk. Unclench your jaw. You have been holding it without noticing, the way you have been holding a great many things. And now, breathe out, all the way out. Not a small, polite breath, the long one, the one that empties you completely, and let the next breath arrive on its own, unforced. Good. That's the chosen one I'm speaking to. Now listen, because something is happening at a distance from you tonight, in a chest that is not yours, and you are meant to know about it before it reaches you. Somewhere, an apology is forming, one you gave up waiting for a long time ago. It is taking shape slowly, word by reluctant word, on the far side of a silence you finally stopped standing guard over. And here is the strange mercy folded into the timing, chosen one. It is coming to you too late, and it is coming to you cold. It will arrive after the wound it belongs to has already closed over and gone quiet, and it will land not as your rescue, but as their relief. Hold that thought loosely. We will come back to it, and I will show you exactly why the lateness is the whole gift. For a long time you waited for it. Let's be honest about that, because there is no shame in it, and pretending otherwise only keeps the ache alive. You waited for the words. You rehearsed how you would receive them. On certain nights, you even practiced the grace you would show, the way you would not gloat, the way you would simply nod and let the thing be over at last. You kept a door open in a house you had otherwise finished cleaning. You told yourself it cost you nothing to leave it open. It cost you more than you knew. Because an apology you are waiting for is not a gift you are hoping to receive. It is a debt you have agreed to keep on the books. Every day you waited, you signed the same statement again, that the account was still open, that something out there still owed you a piece of your own peace, that you would not be fully well until a particular mouth said a particular sentence. You did not know you were signing it. You thought you were being patient. You were paying interest. And then, at some point you probably cannot even locate on a calendar, you stopped. Not in anger, not in a single dramatic hour. You just noticed one ordinary morning that you had not checked for the apology in a while. You had stopped listening for the footstep on the porch. You had stopped rehearsing the graceful nod. Somewhere in the long quiet, without ceremony and without an audience, you closed the account yourself. You healed without the thing you had been told you needed in order to heal. That is the event, chosen one. That is what actually happened, and almost no one around you saw it, and you barely saw it yourself. You got well before they got sorry. If any of this is finding you where you live, do one small thing for me before we go further. Tap the like and subscribe. Not for me. I promise you I am fine. This was never about me. This message only travels when it moves from hand to hand. And somewhere out there is a chosen one still sitting up at night with the door open, still paying interest on a debt they think they have to keep, still certain they cannot be whole until someone finally says the words. Pass this to them. Pay it forward. That is the entire mission, and you are how it moves. Now stay with me, because here is where the whole thing turns over. While you were healing, the account did not simply vanish. Debts do not evaporate. They change direction. The thing you stopped waiting for did not stop existing. It stopped being yours. For years, the apology sat on their side as something they could withhold. And every day they withheld it, they held a small power over you. That was the arrangement. Now, the arrangement has inverted, quietly, completely, and they have not fully understood it yet. The apology is no longer a thing they can give you. It has become a thing they need to give themselves. It stopped being your rescue the moment you rescued yourself, and it is becoming their relief, which is a very different substance, sold at a very different price. An apology given to someone who is still waiting is a rescue. It arrives, and it saves. It reaches into an open wound and it closes it, and the one who gives it gets to feel like the one who healed you. That is the version they always imagined, if they imagined it at all. Them arriving, magnanimous, at the center of your restoration. An apology given to someone who already healed is not a rescue. There is nothing left to save. It arrives at a closed door and finds the house dark and the debt already written off. And so it cannot do the thing an apology is supposed to do. It cannot restore you because you are already restored. All it can do now is unburden the one who carried it. It becomes a confession they need heard for their own sake, a weight they need to set down at your feet, not so that you can be lifted, but so that they can be lighter. That is why it comes cold. The warmth was always going to live in the timing, and the timing is gone. So no, chosen one, you did not wait too long and miss it. You did not fail to hold the door open long enough. You closed the door at exactly the right hour, and the closing of it is the reason the whole thing now belongs to them. Which brings us to what you actually came here for, not the reassurance. You have talked yourself in and out of reassurance 100 times, and it never quite holds. What you came for is the mechanism, the step-by-step of how an apology arrives too late and too cold, and why every part of that lateness is working in your favor, laid out in order, so you can recognize each stage while you are standing inside it and stop mistaking their relief for your rescue. This is the part of the message where the room thins out. Some of you came here out of simple curiosity. You saw the title, you felt a small tug low in the chest, and you clicked. There is no judgment in that at all. But right about now, the merely curious begin to drift. This is where it stops being a feeling and starts being specific. And specific is uncomfortable when it is not about you. So they wander off toward the next voice, the next promise, the next softer thing. Let them go. This was never built to hold everyone. It was built to hold you. And the ones it was made for are doing the exact opposite. You are leaning in. You got quieter. Something in your chest went still, the way it goes still when a stranger says your own private thought out loud in a language you thought only you spoke. If that is you, chosen one, do this one thing. Go down to the comments and drop the number 999. Just that, 999. Not for luck, not because it is trending, not because 3 digits on a screen change anything in the physical world. They do not. 999 is the number of completion, the number the count reaches right before the page turns. And that is precisely where you are standing tonight. A thing has completed in you. So drop it as a signal, plain and quiet. A hand raised in a still room to say, I finished this without them. and I am here to hear the rest. I will see it, others will see it, and they will know they are not the only one who healed in the dark and got told they were still broken. And while you are down there, the like and the subscribe keep this reaching the ones who still need it. Here is what comes next. Not more comfort. 12 pieces laid down in order, precise and unhurried, showing you exactly how the apology forms, why it takes the shape it takes, and why, by the time it reaches you, it can only ever be their relief and never again your rescue. Number 1. The apology begins to form. It did not start when you needed it. It started when they did. For years, the words did not come. You know this part by heart. You built whole theories around the silence. Maybe they did not remember it the way you did. Maybe they had convinced themselves it never happened. Maybe they were the kind of person who simply does not apologize, and you would be waiting until the end of time. You turned that silence over so many times you wore it smooth. And now, at a distance, you can feel more than see. It is beginning to move. Something in them has started to assemble the sentence. Not all at once. An apology like this forms the way frost forms, slowly, overnight, edge by edge, until one morning the whole shape of it is simply there. But notice the timing, chosen one, because the timing is the entire tell. It did not begin to form in the season when it would have saved you. It began to form now, after, when the silence started to cost them more than it cost you. Imagine this, a man who owes an old debt and never intends to pay it, comfortable in his refusal for years, because the one he owes keeps sending letters, keeps calling, keeps the pressure on, and as long as they are chasing him, he feels, strangely, like the one in control. Then the letters stop, the calls stop, and for a while he is relieved. And then, slowly, the silence starts to work on him worse than the chasing ever did. Because a debt no one is chasing is a debt that has been written off. And being written off is a colder thing than being pursued. So one day, unbidden, he starts drafting the letter he never meant to send. Not because he suddenly grew a conscience, because the silence got too loud. That is the apology forming, not conscience. Silence getting too loud to live inside. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. It only started to matter to me once it stopped mattering to them. No, you did not fail to draw it out of them. No, your patience did not run short too early. You held on exactly as long as you needed to become well, and not one day longer. And the apology only began to form once your holding on had already turned into letting go. It is arriving, but it is arriving on their clock, driven by their discomfort. And that is the first sign that it was never going to be for you. Number 2, why it waited this long. It did not wait because it was hard to say. It waited because it was safe not to. You have spent time being generous about the delay. You told yourself these things are hard. Pride is hard. Facing what you did to someone is hard. And that is all true in the way that a small truth can hide a larger one. Because the honest reason the apology waited is simpler and less flattering than difficulty. It waited because withholding it worked. As long as it stayed unspoken, they kept the higher ground. They got to be the one you were reaching toward. They got to feel, without ever admitting it, that they still held a room in your life rent-free, a room you kept lit for them, a room where you sat up waiting. An apology withheld is a form of power. That is the part no one tells you. The longer they keep it, the longer they get to be the door you are knocking on. Some people would rather be the closed door than the open hand, because a closed door still has someone standing in front of it, and being needed in that particular way feels, to a certain kind of person, better than being forgiven. Imagine this: a lamp left burning in a window for a traveler who is expected home. As long as the lamp burns, the one who lit it is in a posture of waiting, of hoping, of readiness. And the traveler, wherever he is, knows the lamp is lit and travels a little lazily because of it, in no hurry, secure in the knowledge that the light will be there whenever he decides to arrive. And then, one night, the lamp goes dark. Not out of spite. The one who lit it simply went to sleep at a reasonable hour, at last, and did not relight it. And it is only then, staring at a black window from the road, that the traveler feels the first cold urgency to come home. The dark window did what the lit one never could. You put out the lamp, chosen one. That is why the apology finally started walking. Not because you called it, because you stopped keeping the light on. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. We only started walking home when we saw the window go dark. No, you did not give up too soon. No, your peace was not impatience wearing a disguise. You simply stopped subsidizing a delay that only ever benefited the one delaying. The moment you stopped paying for the wait ended. And a thing that only moved once it stopped being able to cost you is a thing that was never really about your good in the first place. Number 3, you healed without it. And a healing that needed no apology cannot be undone by one. This is the center of everything, so let me slow all the way down. Somewhere in the long silence, you did the thing you were told could not be done. You were told, maybe by them, maybe by your own heart, maybe just by the general wisdom in the air, that you could not truly close this until they acknowledged it, that the wound required their words to seal, that closure was a two-person job and you were missing the second person. You believed it for a while, and it kept you sitting up nights, and then you healed anyway, alone, without the acknowledgement, without the sentence. You grieved the version of them that would never say it, and you buried that version, and you went on. And one day you realized the ache had gone from a sharp thing to a dull thing to a memory of a thing. You did the whole job yourself, the wound sealed with no second signature on it. Understand what that means, chosen one, because it is enormous. A healing that required their apology would still have a hole in it shaped exactly like their words. A hole only they could fill, which would mean they still owned a piece of your wholeness forever. But a healing done without them has no such hole. It is complete on its own. There is no slot left for the apology to slide into. It arrives and finds the wall smooth, the seam gone, nowhere to be inserted. That is why it will feel, when it comes, like it does not fit, because it doesn't. You built a wholeness that was never designed to receive it. Imagine this: a bone that breaks in a place no doctor ever sets, out in a hard season, far from any help. It hurts beyond telling. And then, because that is what bone does when it is left to itself. It knits. Crookedly, maybe, but it knits and it hardens. And in time, it becomes the strongest part of the whole skeleton, stronger at the break than it ever was before it broke. And then, long after, a doctor finally arrives, apologetic, ready to set it properly. But there is nothing to set. The bone is already whole. To reset it now, the doctor would have to break it again, and no one is going to do that. The lateness of the help is the proof of the healing. The help arrives precisely too late to be help. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. We came to fix them and found nothing left to fix. No, you did not heal wrong by healing alone. No, you did not rob yourself of a proper closure by refusing to wait for theirs. You healed in the only way that leaves you free, the way that owes the outcome to no one but you. The bone is set. The apology is a doctor at a door that no longer needs one. Number 4. What healing without it did to the apology's value. It turned it from a currency you needed into a coin you no longer spend. There was a season when their apology was the most valuable thing in your world. You would have traded a great deal for it. In the worst nights, you might have traded things you should not have. It had that kind of power over you. The power of the one thing you did not have and could not get. Scarcity made it precious. Your need made it precious. It was worth exactly as much as your waiting made it worth. And before we go any deeper, chosen one, do one small thing. If this is landing where it was meant to land, drop 999 in the comments. Not for me, but as a quiet hand raised in a crowded room. A way of saying, I am here. I am one of the ones this was written for. 999, the number of a cycle finishing, a season closing on time, a thing completed. Leave it below and let the next chosen one see they are not the only one who stayed. And here is the quiet law of it, chosen one. The value of an apology lives entirely in the wound it is meant to close. A large wound, still open, makes for a valuable apology. A closed wound makes for a worthless one. Not worthless because it is bad. Worthless because there is no longer any wound for it to spend itself on. The very thing that gave it worth, your open need, is gone. You spent the waiting. You closed the wound with your own hands. And in doing so, without meaning to, you devalued the one thing they were saving to give you, right down to nothing. Imagine this. A man hoards a currency, refuses to spend it, sits on it for years, certain it is only growing more precious, certain that the day he finally releases it, he will be received like a king. And while he sits on it, quietly, in a country he stopped paying attention to, the currency is retired. A new one takes its place. Life moves to a different exchange. And on the day he finally, grandly, comes to spend what he hoarded, he lays it on the counter, and the whole room looks at him with a kind of embarrassed pity, because what he is holding is no longer money, it is a souvenir. It was worth the most on the day he decided to keep it, and it has been losing value every silent day since. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. We saved it too long, and now it doesn't buy anything. No, you did not devalue it out of coldness. No, you did not make it worthless as a punishment. You simply lived and grew and healed, and value follows healing the way a shadow follows the sun. Their apology is a coin from a country you no longer live in. You can accept it graciously. You will never have to spend it. Number 5. Why it comes cold. The warmth was always kept in the waiting, and the waiting is over. You will feel the temperature of it when it comes. That is the part I most want to prepare you for, because it will surprise you. You spent so long imagining the apology as warm, as relief, as reunion, as the thaw at the end of a long freeze. And what actually arrives will be cool to the touch. Correct, perhaps, even sincere in its way, but cold. And you will wonder what is wrong with you, that the thing you wanted for so long lands so flat. Nothing is wrong with you, chosen one. The coldness is not a defect in your heart. It is a fact about the apology. The warmth of an apology is not in its words. It is in its timeliness. An apology is warm when it arrives to a hand still outstretched, when it meets need with supply, when the giver and the receiver complete a circuit. Warmth is what happens when the current flows both ways, but you took your hand back. You are no longer reaching. So when the apology arrives, there is no circuit to close, no hand to meet, and the current has nowhere to go. It just sits there, in the air between you, giving off no heat, because heat requires two. Imagine this: a meal cooked with real care for someone who is expected at a certain hour, set on the table steaming, the whole house warm with the smell of it, and the hour comes and goes, and the one it was made for does not arrive, and the meal cools, as meals do, patiently, degree by degree, until it is exactly as nourishing as it was, and not one bit as comforting. And when the guest finally walks in, hours late, and sits down, and the cold plate is pushed toward them, they can eat it. It will feed them. But it will never be the meal it was at the hour it was meant for. And everyone at the table knows it, and no one says it. The lateness cooked the warmth out of it, and no reheating brings that particular warmth back. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. We brought it warm in our heads, and it arrived cold in our hands. No, you did not turn cold. You turned whole, and wholeness does not run to meet the thing that used to complete it. The apology comes cold because you are no longer standing in the doorway shivering, waiting to be warmed. You went inside. You lit your own fire. The cold plate is not a tragedy. It is a receipt for the fact that you stopped being hungry. Number 6, their version of the sentence. It will be shaped to relieve them, not to reach you. Listen closely to the apology when it comes, because its shape will tell you everything. There is a kind of apology that is about the one who was hurt, that says, here is what I did, here is what it cost you, here is my understanding of your wound, and I am sorry. It faces outward, toward you. And there is another kind, far more common, that is about the one who did the hurting, that says, I have been carrying this, I have not been able to sleep, I need you to know I am not the kind of person who does that, I need to feel clean again. It wears the costume of an apology, but it faces inward, toward them. It is a request dressed as an offering. The apology forming now, chosen one, will almost certainly be the second kind. Not because they are monstrous, because that is the only kind a late apology can be. An early apology can afford to be about you, because you are still there, still open, still the point. A late apology has no choice but to be about them, because you are already healed and no longer need the thing, so the only remaining function it can serve is to relieve the giver. They are not coming to close your wound. They are coming to close theirs. And their wound, unlike yours, only they can close. And they suspect, correctly, that they cannot close it without you in the room. Imagine this: a person carrying a heavy stone across a long country, telling themselves they are carrying it to give it to someone as a gift. And they walk for years under the weight of it, and the story that it is a gift is the only thing that makes the weight bearable. But watch what happens when they finally reach the one they meant to give it to. They do not present it. They drop it. They set it down at the other's feet with a groan of pure release, and the relief on their face has nothing to do with the receiver and everything to do with their own unburdened back. It was never a gift. It was a load they wanted to transfer, and the one it is dropped in front of is under no obligation to pick it up. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. We said we were coming to make it right for them. We came to feel right ourselves. No, you are not ungrateful for seeing it clearly. No, you are not hard for noticing whose comfort the apology is actually built to serve. You are simply healed enough to tell the difference between a gift and a burden being handed off. And that discernment is not coldness. It is the plain eyesight of someone who no longer needs anything from the person in front of them. Number 7. The debt reverses. You were the one owed, and now you are the one who holds the power to release. Something has quietly changed hands, and it is worth naming precisely, because it undoes a story you have carried for years. For a long time, you were the debtor's creditor in a bad position, owed something you could not collect, dependent on the goodwill of the one who owed you, powerless because the payment was entirely in their hands. That is a miserable place to stand, and you stood in it a long time. But watch what your healing did to the ledger. The moment you stopped needing the apology, you stopped being the one waiting on them, and they, the moment they began to need to give it, for their own peace, their own sleep, their own sense of being a decent person, became the ones waiting on you. The debt did not get paid. It reversed. Now they need something from you. Your reception, your acknowledgement, your absolution, and you need nothing from them at all. You hold, without having sought it, the exact power they held over you for years, the power to withhold the thing the other person needs, except you will not wield it the way they did, because you do not need to. That is the difference between the two of you, and it is the whole difference. Imagine this: two people on a seesaw in the dark, and for years one of them has been stuck high in the air, feet dangling, waiting for the other to let them down, entirely at the mercy of the one on the ground. And then, without a word, the one in the air simply steps off. Not up, not down, off, onto solid ground of their own, walking away on their own 2 feet. And the seesaw drops hard on the other end, and now it is the one who used to be on the ground who is stuck up in the air, suddenly, waiting for a partner who is already gone, calling for a balance that walked off into the dark. The whole apparatus of who waits for whom inverted the instant one person decided to stand on their own ground. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. We used to hold what they needed. Now they hold what we need. And they don't need us to hold it. No, you did not seize power over them. No, you did not turn the tables out of spite. You simply stood up, and the standing up was enough. Their apology now needs you far more than you ever needed it. And that reversal was not your doing. It was gravity, correcting a thing that had been unbalanced too long. Number 8. Why you no longer have to accept or refuse it. The transaction requires your need, and your need is gone. Here is a weight you can set down tonight, because you have been quietly carrying it, and it is heavier than you think. You have been rehearsing, somewhere in the back of your mind, what you will do when the apology finally comes. Will you accept it graciously? Will you refuse it and hold the line? Will you say the thing you always wanted to say, or will you take the high road? You have staged that scene 100 ways, and every version of it assumes the apology is a live question you must answer. It is not, and this is the freedom in it. An apology is a live question only for someone who still needs it. If you need it, then yes, its arrival demands a response, a yes or a no, an accepting or a withholding, because your peace is still hanging on the answer. But you already have your peace. It is not hanging on anything. So the apology, when it comes, is not a question posed to you. It is a statement made near you about them that you are free to receive with a nod and nothing more. You do not have to grant it. You do not have to refuse it. You do not have to weigh it. The whole apparatus of decision only runs on the fuel of your need, and you ran out of that fuel a long time ago, quietly, without noticing the tank go dry. Imagine this: a bill delivered to a house for a debt that was already paid in full years back by the owner's own hand. The one delivering it stands on the porch, braced for an argument, ready for the drama of collection. And the owner looks at the bill, and there is no fear in them, no negotiation, no need to fight it, because they know a thing the collector does not. The account is settled. They are not obligated to pay, and they are not obligated to argue about not paying. They can simply say, "Thank you," and close the door, and go back to a life that this piece of paper has no power to interrupt. The bill is real. It is also nothing. Both are true because the debt behind it is already gone. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. We came to be granted something they were no longer keeping score of. No. You are not obligated to perform forgiveness on cue. No, you are not required to stage the reunion they have been picturing. You may forgive them freely from a great height, precisely because you no longer need to. And forgiveness given from no need is the only kind that costs you nothing and frees you entirely. The choice is yours, because the need is not. Number 9. The moment they realize you don't need them. This is where the room goes cold on their side. There will come an instant, chosen one, when the person who is forming this apology looks at you, really looks, and understands something that empties the color out of the whole gesture. They will see that you are well. Not performing wellness, not bravely coping, not white-knuckling through it with a smile. Actually well, complete, finished with the wound they thought still bound you to them. And in that instant, the apology they have been building will turn to ash in their mouth, because it was constructed for a version of you that no longer exists. A you that was still waiting, still open, still needing them to close the loop. That is the cold moment. Not yours, theirs. You have already had your quiet, unwitnessed healing. Theirs is loud and sudden and lands all at once. The realization that they took too long, that they held the thing back one season too many, that the person they finally deigned to release it to has already moved beyond the reach of its power. They will feel the floor tilt. Every day they savored the withholding. Every day they felt the small warmth of being the door you knocked on, all of it revealed in one breath, as time spent on a thing that was already slipping out of their hand. Imagine this: a person who lets a beloved wait and wait, certain of the waiting, certain they can return whenever they choose and be received exactly as before, because that is how it has always worked. And they take their time. They enjoy a little the security of being awaited. And then, one day, they finally turn back, arms open, prepared for the familiar rush of being needed. And they find the other person calm, kind, entirely at peace, and gone. Not angry, not pining, just no longer waiting. And the horror of that moment is not rejection. Rejection they could have fought. It is irrelevance. It is discovering that the door they were sure would always open for them has quietly become a wall, not out of hatred, but out of healing. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. We took our time because we were sure they'd still be waiting. No, you did not go cold to punish them. No, you withheld nothing on purpose. You simply healed on your own schedule, and your wellness, which cost them nothing and which they did nothing to earn, turns out to be the one thing their apology cannot survive contact with. The room goes cold on their side, chosen one, because that is where the temperature drop belongs. It was never yours to feel. Number 10. It cannot unheal you. What is closed does not reopen on command. Here is where their whole hope quietly dies, and it is worth understanding why, because it is the thing that makes all of this permanent. There is a belief buried in a late apology that the giving of it can turn back time, that if they say the words with enough weight, the years of silence will fold up and disappear, and you will be returned to the moment just before the wound, grateful, restored, bound to them again by the closing of the circle. They believe in some unspoken way that the apology is a key that reopens the whole matter so it can be resolved properly, on their terms, with them present. It is not a key. There is nothing left to open. A wound that has healed does not have a door in it. You cannot apologize someone back into needing you. You cannot, by finally saying the thing, unsay the years in which they did not, and undo the healing those years forced you to do alone. The healing is not on loan, waiting to be recalled. It is yours, poured and set and hardened, and no word spoken now can pour it back into liquid. This is the mercy hidden inside the lateness, chosen one. Because it came too late, it cannot touch you. An apology that arrived in time would have had power over you, power to complete you, and therefore power one day to have been withheld again. This one has none. It is safe precisely because it is too late to matter. Imagine this: a river that was dammed and diverted years ago, sent along a new course through new country, and it has cut that new channel deep now, carved it into the rock, made it the only bed it knows. And someone comes, late, and removes the old dam, and stands back, expecting the river to rush gratefully back to its former path. And the river does not move. It has a home now. The old bed is dry stone and memory. The water has no reason on earth to leave the channel it spent all those hard years cutting for itself. You are that river, chosen one. They can take down every dam they ever built. You are not going back. Your course is set in stone you carved yourself. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. We thought saying it would put things back. Nothing goes back. No, you did not close the door too firmly. No, you did not make yourself unreachable out of pride. You made yourself whole. And wholeness is unreachable by the thing that needed your brokenness to function. Their apology cannot unheal you, and that permanence is the exact thing they are only now beginning to understand as they build it. Number 11. You were never incomplete. The apology was never the missing piece. Now set down the deepest weight of all, because you have carried it the longest, and it has quietly shaped how you see yourself. Somewhere along the way, you came to believe that you were, until they apologized, slightly unfinished. That there was a piece of your story missing, an unclosed parenthesis, a chapter that could not end until they spoke. You believed the apology was the missing part of you, held hostage in someone else's hands. And a person who believes a piece of themselves is held elsewhere walks through the world slightly bent toward the place they think it is kept. But watch what your own healing proved, chosen one. You closed the chapter without them. You ended the sentence without their word. If the apology were truly the missing piece, you could not have become whole without it. And yet, here you are, whole, which means it was never a piece of you at all. It was a piece of them, a thing they owed, a debt on their ledger that you mistook for a hole in your own. You were complete the entire time. You just could not see it while you were still looking at their hands, waiting for them to give you a part of yourself that was never in their possession to begin with. Imagine this: a person who spends years believing the deed to their own house is held by someone across the country, and so they live like a guest in their own home, careful, provisional, never quite hanging the pictures, always half expecting to be asked to leave, because someone else holds the paper that proves the place is theirs. And then, one day, the papers arrive, sent grudgingly, late, and they open the envelope with a pounding heart, and they find inside a copy of a deed they realize they held the original of all along. The house was always theirs. The waiting was the only thing that ever made them a guest in it. The document changes nothing because it only confirms what was already true and already recorded in their name from the start. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. We thought we were holding a piece of them. We were holding nothing that belonged to us. No, you were never incomplete. No, you did not need their words to be whole. You needed only to stop believing that a piece of you lived in someone else's silence. And the day you stopped believing it, you found the whole of yourself exactly where it had always been. The apology confirms the deed. It does not grant the house. The house was always yours. Number 12. The account settles, and it settles on their side. You walk out owing nothing and holding nothing. Here is where all of it comes to rest, chosen one, and I want you to keep this part especially, because it is the difference between a bitter freedom and a clean one. When the apology finally arrives, cold, late, shaped for their relief, there are two ways this can end. In one, you take the apology and you use it. You let it become the trophy at the end of a long grudge. You savor the reversal. You make them feel the lateness. You spend your new power the way they spent theirs. And in that version, you win. And you walk out a little harder, a little colder, carrying a small, permanent satisfaction that slowly turns to stone in your chest. That is the tempting version. It is also a loss disguised as a win. In the other version, you receive the apology the way a whole person receives a late letter about a matter already resolved. You feel the truth of the reversal without needing to press on it. You let it be their relief, since relief is the only thing it can honestly be. And you neither grant it as a rescue nor withhold it as a punishment. You simply close the account, which was already closed on your side and now closes on theirs, and you walk out owing nothing and holding nothing. No debt of bitterness, no trophy, no stone, just the plain, uncluttered freedom of a person who healed on their own and was gracious enough not to charge admission for the news. Imagine this. A long winter's account finally reconciled in the spring. On one side, someone who withheld for years, certain the withholding was a kind of wealth, and who now discovers the whole sum came due at once and lands entirely on them, cold and heavy, and theirs to carry home. On the other side, someone who was owed and who added nothing to their own column, no interest of resentment, no penalty of revenge, and who therefore stands at the closing of the books at a clean and perfect zero. And in a hard year, zero is not nothing. Zero is the richest number at the table. It is the balance of the only person in the room who owes no one and can walk out the door the moment they choose, unburdened, unbound, and free. Here is the line they cannot say out loud. They settled it without us and left us holding the whole cost of the delay. No, you did not lose by healing early. No, you did not cheat yourself of a proper closure.